As we know from the earlier chapters of Poppy Playtime, the factory is full of hidden secrets, twisted experiments, and of course, the infamous toys that seem to have come alive. In Chapter 4, we learned about the prototype, a horrifying creature that seems to have been the result of the company's experiments going too far. But here's where things get interesting for Chapter 5. What if the prototype isn't the true villain? Imagine this. The true antagonist of Chapter 5 isn't just another toy gone rogue, but the return of something far older and more terrifying. We know that the factory was active for years before it was shut down. So who's to say there weren't other experiments before Poppy herself? Perhaps there was a predecessor to the prototype, something even more powerful and ancient, but it's been trapped in the deepest, most forgotten parts of the factory. In Chapter 5, we might be introduced to this original toy, a kind of forgotten relic of the first experiments. This toy might not be like anything we've seen before, either a humanoid figure, or an even stranger, more grotesque creation that exists solely to torment and test anyone who dares enter its domain. But what's its goal? Why is it so angry? Maybe it was the very first toy to ever be brought to life, and seeing Poppy, who by this point, has gained some level of sentience, and the prototype's rise has awoken something deep inside it, a need for vengeance and dominance over the others. This could make the factory a battleground for control between the prototype and this new, terrifying figure. Chapter 5 Gameplay. So, how would this affect the gameplay? We'd be heading deeper into the factory than ever before, down into forgotten areas, where the worst experiments were kept hidden from the public eye. Imagine exploring new environments like underground labs, sealed-off hallways, and old storage rooms. The factory's dark history would unfold through environmental storytelling, clues about failed experiments, abandoned rooms, and perhaps even lost test subjects. As for gameplay mechanics, we could see new gadgets and tools that help us uncover the truth. Instead of just relying on the grab pack, we could use something like an X-ray tool, or a light emitter that reveals hidden doors, objects, and even enemies lurking in the shadows. The factory would be a maze of secrets, and solving puzzles wouldn't just require physical manipulation, but also piecing together cryptic messages and recordings left behind by the scientists who worked there. Of course, we're not going to be alone down there. The prototype, while a horrific threat, might actually serve as a kind of ally at certain points. The only way for it to survive is to prevent the new villain from overtaking everything. But at the same time, the prototype isn't exactly friendly. It's still that messed up, twisted thing we saw earlier. The only way to survive might be to use the prototype against the new creature, forcing the player into some risky, tactical decisions. The Toymaker's return. Here's where things get really interesting. What if the Toymaker, the figure behind all the horrific experiments, makes a reappearance? Maybe Chapter 5 could reveal more about the Toymaker's past and motivations, showing that they were obsessed with creating life from toys for much darker purposes. Perhaps they were using the toys as test subjects to create an army. And now the army is coming to life, including the original creation that wants to dominate them all. The ending. The final moments of Chapter 5 could be the most intense yet. The player might have to face a life or death situation, where they have to make a tough choice, destroy the prototype, or at least try to prevent the new toy from wreaking havoc, or align themselves with the prototype to fight off the true enemy once and for all. This ending could set up the storyline for Chapter 6, leading to even bigger revelations about the factory's purpose and the toy's true origins. Perhaps the most chilling part of this theory? The factory might not just be filled with toys anymore. As the toy experiments keep evolving, the line between human and toy could start to blur, leaving us to question whether the toys we've been fighting are truly alive, or are they just humans transformed into these abominations through the twisted experiments. Conclusion. Chapter 5 of Poppy Playtime will likely push the boundaries of the series, revealing more about the factory's horrifying origins and introducing terrifying new enemies. We'll be diving into forgotten depths, uncovering secrets, and making alliances with some of the factory's most dangerous creations. It'll be a battle of survival, deception, and moral ambiguity. And just when we think we understand what's going on, Poppy and the prototype might prove that nothing is what it seems. What do you think? Is this what's coming? Or will Poppy Playtime go even crazier than we can imagine?